I hope you can see what's going on in here. But this is the shelter. Yeah, I'm in a bough bed. I'm protected from the rain to some extent, but I'm close to the dirt wall here, and that's going to provide more protection for me. Welcome to another episode of For You to Survive. Today it's going to be a shelter making video, and I'm going to use no modern tools. So stay tuned and see what I can come up with. Later towards the end of the video, I'm going to share my thoughts on what I think about this shelter. This looks like it could be a potential shelter. I got to explore this and check it out. This tree's fallen, it's stuck up in some branches up there. Let's get a closer look here. Here's the tree that blew over. Let's look up there. There's a tree stuck up in other trees, so I think if anything's happening, the tree's either not coming down or it's only going to go in one direction. It's not going to go back to the way it was. This must have been blown down in the wind. Let's see what's on this side. Whoa. I see some serious potential here. Oh yeah. There's the inside. It looks dry in there actually. I'm going to have to clean it up a little bit. But it looks fairly level. It doesn't look like water's pooling in there or anything. So, yeah, I think we have the potential for a nice shelter. Let's take a look from the side. So, from a safety perspective, I don't think that this tree is ever going to stand straight up like it once was before. The angle of the tree is such that it's only going to go down. It's not going to stand back up and crush me. So, I think I got a seriously pre-made survival shelter. I'm going to use gloves. Got to protect the hands. I'm going to see if I can get this spruce tree out of the way. All right, success. I'm going to use this as a digging stick so I can level things out inside here. Here's a down tree already. I'm going to get my size for how big of supports I need. I'm going to go right about there. I'm going to save these for later. I'm going to keep the branches on there so it'll hold other material. So I'm going to gather a whole bunch of these, let that be my structure. All right, I got this stick that I broke off the other tree. I'm going to try to keep from getting dirty. So re-shake this shelter. It's bound to happen. I'm going to bump something, so I might as well bump it now so dirt doesn't fall on me once the shelter's made. Okay, I'm going to level out the ground in here, take out any rough parts. It's easier to level this out whenever the shelter is open like this. It's going to be harder once I start filling in the walls. That's reasonably level. I'm going to use this stick as a guide so I can know just how high my poles need to be. So now it's time to collect some more poles. This stick gives me an idea. Here's my measuring stick. I'm going to break it off somewhere about here. All right, I'll keep going. I'm going to get more. It's better to push than to pull. It saves your back. Looks like I have potential shingles here. I might be able to put this to good use later. Oh yeah, these are decent. It's a pretty good haul. Here's some spruce right here. I think I'm going to get some boughs just so I can have some bedding. I'm going to go for this one. I'm going to bend it up and then pull it in. Now I got a bough for some bedding. I just got to get more, but I'm going to go on this tree, that tree, the other tree. I'm going to mix it up so it doesn't look like I destroyed the forest. Okay, now it's time to make the bed. I got 50 spruce boughs. We got rain in the forecast soon, so I want to get a bed down while the spruce boughs are still dry. All right, that's enough for a bed. I'll probably go for 50 more later, but this is a good start. At least I have somewhere to lay down that's dry, and I'm not going to get dirty because these spruce boughs are down. Except for that falling dirt. We got 50 spruce boughs in there, and I crossed them so that the stick ends are on the outside, so when I lay down, I don't get poked with them. There we go. I have somewhere protected from the ground. It's going to keep me from getting dirty, and it's going to keep me drier. So that's how I did it. I'm going to lay down like this, and you can see how the pointed ends of the sticks are facing outward. I picked 20 more spruce boughs and 30 fir boughs. The spruce is more fluffy and has more loft to it, whereas the balsam fir here is more flat. So the spruce is preferred, but I'm using what I have. This will give me 100 boughs. I'm going to go a little bit more thicker at the head end, like a double layer at the head end to about the trunk, and then I'm going to thin them out towards the feet. I'm putting the top sides up. The undersides are facing down towards the ground. I'm going to use every one I picked. Don't want to waste any of these. Yep, I need a little more at the foot end. Now I'm going to put some cross pieces on so I can hold up some moss. Okay, here's what I'm dealing with. I know it's going to rain. It's forecast for today, so this might be as good as it gets. I'm going to try to put some moss on there to cover it up, but I got some support poles for the weight, some cross pieces to hold the moss, and my shelter is deep in towards the ground in there, so I'm going to have to hurry up before the rain comes. Then, at a later time, I could add more spruce boughs, more fir boughs, or even pine boughs to the bed. I can add more to the shelter. So basically, this is an immediate action shelter. I need to get something right away because it's going to rain, and I'll just keep improving it as long as I need to. Time for some shingling. So I'm going to use some moss. I broke a stick, so now I can kind of score the moss a little bit so I can rip it up in nice sheets. So I got that started. Just going to kind of roll it. Get a little carpet of moss. There's some roots in here making it hard to get out. Now to take it to the shelter. I can already feel the rain starting to sprinkle, so time to get this sheet of moss on the shelter. I'm going to start low and work my way up. This shelter will probably be camouflaged, but that means you got to put out some signals, some ground signals, because if anybody's looking for you from the ground or from the air, you want to make sure they can find you. So give yourself a chance to be seen. So even though this is going to provide shelter, you want to make sure you can be seen, because getting seen is going to get you out of your survival situation. All right, got to keep going. It's nice to have a good source of moss. I'm going to build up one section just to show you what it looks like, but I should do the whole bottom first and then work my way up in layers. This is just so you can kind of see things go quick. This is where the supporting structure is coming in handy. All right. Every little bit. If you collected it, use it. All right, now to get some more moss. Well, here's a big gap here, so if there's ever a time to use the bark, I'm using the bark now. I'm going to fill in that gap and keep going. Time for more moss. It took 3.5 hours to make this shelter, and that's a little bit of filming time too, but it just puts it in perspective how long it takes to make a shelter. So bringing something with you like a tarp, plastic, that sort of thing could make a huge difference. Even a tube tent, which is not insignificant at all. Today's a rainy day, so I got this special fire starter, but that's for another video. Let's go take a look at the shelter, see what I made. This is the part that was open. It's all filled in. I got the moss on there. It's rainy, so it's not really the nicest part of the day, that's for sure. And here's the part of the tree that was going down, which isn't going to stand up. So this is the shelter. Squirrel's got a little spruce cone there. I think we need to go in this shelter. I'm glad I made that bough bed beforehand because it was dry when I picked the boughs. Now they'd be wet, and I wouldn't like to lay on that at all. I mentioned that I wasn't going to use any modern tools or any tools on this one. I could have used my survival scarf to gather the moss. I could have put it inside and carried it. I could take the ends here, cinch them up, tie this up, make a reef knot, okay, what I could have done was put all the moss in here, then I could have carried it over my shoulder. It would have been a lot easier, probably a lot quicker, but now I have a dry survival scarf, so that'll keep me warm inside the shelter if I want to use it that way. Maybe it'll be a doorway. I got options with this thing. Plus it's going to be orange so I can know where my shelter is so it doesn't just blend in. That's also a factor. You don't want to lose your shelter. Okay, there's a makeshift door. I got a branch on the bottom of the survival scarf to keep it from flapping in the wind. That open area there, I can fill it in better. But just a quick idea for what you can use. Let's go in this shelter. I don't have to wish I had a flashlight because I got the ferro tube fire starter. So that's going to give me some light. That's my little survival flashlight. I got a little bit of openings in the shelter, but not bad for the time I spent. I can patch those up. This is the first time I've been in it since I started making it, but it's rainy outside. I hope you can see what's going on in here, but this is the shelter. It smells good in here because I got the boughs here. I need a little more light, so I'm going to move the tube a little bit more, but yeah, I'm in a bough bed. I'm protected from the rain to some extent, but I'm close to the dirt wall here, and that's going to provide more protection for me as opposed to being closer to where the opening once was. So I can fill that in some more. Now that I'm in here, I can actually see what needs to be done, but for now, 3.5 hours worth of work. This is pretty good for now, and this will provide some rain protection. So I accomplished what I needed to, but I need to improve it. There's a few things I want to go over in hindsight with this shelter. One, the boughs, they were warm once I was done doing all this work gathering and moving around, but once I laid there for a while, it started getting cooler, so I'm going to need more boughs. The other thing is this a long-term shelter or a short-term shelter? If it's a long-term shelter, yes, I need shelter, and it's definitely something. It's protection. It was raining yesterday, so I needed protection. But would I have been better off using that open spot near the dirt and making a big fire next to it, kind of using it as an open lean-to? That might have been more use of my time because it was colder after a while. The other thing, energy and time. How much energy do you have? It takes time to do all this stuff and energy while you're doing it. So at some point you get tired, then you run out of daylight. I didn't even gather one stick of firewood for making that, so that's also something to consider. That wouldn't have been enough for me last night by itself. Yes, it would have took rain off me, but it's still not enough. I could have filled my survival scarf with some kind of insulation, but that insulation was wet at some point, so that was not so much of a good idea. I'd have to make my stretcher bed, which is definitely possible. Definitely the shelter would have provided for the rule of threes, which goes 3 hours without shelter, but I still probably would have been better off combining that fire with the open lean-to shelter, because right now I can't really have a fire in there without it being smoky or unsafe. I would definitely have to improve the shelter. So maybe the first night's a tough night, and then the next night, all right, fine, I really do my best to make it warm, gather insulation, that sort of thing. This is why we train, so we know the benefits and limitations of the stuff that we do out here. So last night would have been a tough night to spend out here. I think there's some reality that needs to go on in all this, because I can say that, yes, I made a shelter. Would it have been enough to get through the night? Probably a lot of shivering, not much sleep, but it would have kept me out of the rain. I could have made a fire and dried my clothes, that sort of thing, but that would have been a tough night. It's early November, so based on this time of year, I think a fire is going to definitely do me good. Now, if I had more time to get dry insulation, get dry moss, definitely layer it up some, that might provide enough insulation to get me through nicely, but on one day and one afternoon, how much time do you really have? You're going to be out there after hiking, doing whatever you're doing. You're going to be tired, exhausted. Then you got to start working like mad. So that's something to consider. Get out there and practice so you can survive. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all my subscribers out there.